2024. How is 2024 going to be in terms of economy globally? What does it mean for you and me? Let's look at the global economy in terms of GDP growth, inflation, interest rates, and employment. As per IMF, the global economy is expected to be slowing down a bit from an estimated growth of 2.9% in 2023. It's expected to slow down marginally and grow by about 2.4% in 2024. Most of the slowdown is going to come because of the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, which is affecting Europe. The oil prices shock, which went through in 2023, will continue. And of course, the government's tightening of the monetary policy, making it very much more difficult to borrow, is going to be also affecting growth. Another significant change which is going to happen between 23 and 24 is the actions which most governments in Europe and US have taken after COVID to fuel the local economy by pumping in money is going to be slowly withdrawn. So very clearly there are going to be headwinds which will cause the global economy to slow down a bit more than it grew in 2023, which is still okay compared to what was being expected to happen in 2023, where the experts said they would go into recession. It didn't go, and it is not expected to go into recession in 2024 too. In fact, if you look at the G20 countries, the top ones, except for one country, all countries are going to grow positively. The only country which will see a negative growth is Argentina, with minus 1.3% growth. It's also interesting to see the top 5 high growth countries in the G20. The first one, and it continues to be the bright spot globally, is India. It's, as per IMF, expected to grow at about 6.1% next year, as a follow-up to close to 6.3% expected in 2023. But RBI has recently shown more positivity and said that India would grow at about 7% next year. So the momentum is very, very bullish in India. So they continue to be on the top of the charts with a very high growth. Second is China, still number 2 in terms of growth at 4.7%, which is quite creditable for the size which they have of the economy. But it is slowing down. The momentum continues to slow down. So from an expected 5.2% in 2023 of GDP growth, is going to slow down to 4.7%. To me, what is more interesting is the 3 other players in the top 5. The second fastest growing between India and China is expected to be Indonesia. Indonesia, watch out for Indonesia. It's a silent growth engine for Asia. It's been growing at the 5% plus mark for consistently for some time. It will continue to grow around that 5.2% odd for 2024 and be the second fastest growing among the G20. But what is interesting is the other 2 players. These are the 2 bright sparks from Middle East. Saudi Arabia and Turkey is expected to grow around 3%. And this is where I think the 2 places to watch really is in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and in India, which probably are going to be very interesting places for us to keep an eye on. US will slow down. Not too much, but from the 2.4% estimated growth in 2023, which surprised most experts because they had a fantastic run, and especially in Q3 saw a huge growth in 2023. It slowed down in Q4 of 2023, and it will continue to slow down and expected to be around 1.7% growth for 2024. But still, it's showing a lot of resilience in its economy, and it surprised a lot of experts. Also, look at Europe, which actually is going to grow marginally in 2024. From an estimated growth of 0.6%, it will grow to around 0.9% growth in GDP in 2024, which is very interesting because it's again showing a lot of strength in their economy, which was again expected to do very poorly in 23. Surprised everyone by doing far better than that, and it will actually grow in 2024 in spite of all the things we spoke about in the beginning. So there seems to be a steel showing up in the US and Europe, underlying the factors which contribute to their economy are pretty strong, and it will continue to hold this up. At the bottom of the G20 chart are just above Argentina, which is growing negatively, are some European countries which need to be watched out: UK, Germany, and Italy. So they roughly will be about 0.6, 0.7% growth, and which is not bad, but it is because they were expected to go into recession, but they are doing quite well. So on economy, if you do a roundup, you'll see that it's not going to be a bad year. Slow down a little bit. Bright spots being India and Middle East, which is Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Indonesia will continue to grow quite well. China slows down a bit. What is more worrying is the momentum of it's continuously losing momentum and slowing down. Europe will actually grow surprisingly, and US continues to show the steel they showed in 2023, but will slow down a little bit. Inflation has been coming down in the second half of 2023, and due to some very good work by the banks and the governments there, mostly in Europe and in the US, there's been a lot of tightening of the monetary policies. So it's managed to control inflation, which was expected to just go and run away, but it's been under control. What the expectation is that this will continue. They'll continue to be very tight on the interest rates and the monetary policies. And the guess is that it might continue till almost the second half of 2024. What it does is, while it controls inflation, it can at some stage start really hurting the growth. Okay, so they will have to be playing this game very carefully at what stage to ease it out. Otherwise, it will just get into a very dangerous stages for growth itself. I'm sure they will keep an eye on it. The expectation is from H2 of next year, you'll start seeing a little opening up of the markets. The other interesting thing of 2023, a lot of things surprised everyone. One of the biggest surprise was in spite of all the very high inflation, unemployment was at a historic low in the US, in Europe, in our part of the world, in India, in Australia, Asia. Unemployment has been at a historic low. And while in 2024, it's expected to increase a little bit, but it will not reach the levels which was there during COVID or before COVID. So that's an interesting phenomenon and good news for all of us who are employed. what it means to us is, from this point of view, is there's going to be a shortage of resources. So good resources will have opportunities to get bigger roles or get hired easily, and there will be run for the same resource, or the salaries will be much better. And especially for people in India, this is your golden period. Okay, the country is growing. The GDP has been growing at massive rates year after year, and unemployment is low, so there's great opportunities. This is the time you need to put your best effort, put in real hard work. Don't let go. This is going to last for a few more years. Just make hay while the sun is shining. Just give your 110%. Take advantage, grow fast. This is the opportunity here. Finally, in summary, very good year for the economy in 2024. It's not going to be bad. Marginal lower than the 23. It's good from the employment scene too. There are some bright spots across the world which I talked about earlier. Funds and getting money to start a business, startup and other stuff could become easier in the second half of next year. A very good year to look forward to. Let's get in. This seems like a very, very exciting year. Till the next time we meet, stay unstoppable.